What do we do in the times that we're grieving, that the world seems so unreal and unfathomable and just wrong? What do we do when we feel so heavy because we don't have confidence that the future is going to be safe? How do we handle the experience of the intensity and acknowledge the truth of that grief, that experience? And also move through it, stepping into a place where you acknowledge its presence, it's palpable, it's not something that you can just bypass with a high vibration. That would be missing the opportunity for real, authentic presence in this moment. Grief, fear, intensity can bring us to the present moment in a way that nothing else can sometimes. And sometimes all we can do is take one more step. Breathe, get out of bed, go to work, keep functioning, keep moving. Don't let it paralyze us, because we are still alive. And while there is breath in us, there is still a chance to make a difference. There is still a chance to connect with other humans. There is still a chance to live and experience life, and to maybe make a difference for another person. I believe our souls are here, that we choose to come to earth for a specific reason, and I believe that we have different reasons for being here. I know these are really intense times for a lot of people, and it's made even more difficult because for a lot of other people, they're really delighted. They feel some sense of hope that they never thought possible. And they believe that they've done something good. And those are such two extreme polar opposites. I don't know why, but after Trump won the election, everything felt different. And I don't know what that means. Sometimes people talk about jumping timelines. It's some out there stuff for a lot of people, but it's an interesting idea to imagine. And I hear people saying things like, this is the reality that we find ourselves in. And that is the truth. This here now is the reality that we find ourselves in. And the more that we are polarized, the more the other side will be polarized. It's always that way. because there has to be balance, there has to be both. And so these moments are opportunities to sit with ourselves, to sit with these intense emotions like fear, like frustration, judgment. This is what it is to be human. And we are all on this human journey. And for what it's worth, I truly do think that everybody is doing the best they can. And they're doing what they think is best, one reason or another. I've been thinking a lot about the things that guide me, that guide my actions. I've been thinking about how the things I do, whether I'm aware of it or not, my actions are always in line with my values. And so the way that I can figure out what I value is to observe my actions, because sometimes actions flow out of me that I haven't planned. I surprise myself sometimes. I do things that another part of me goes, why did you just do that? And we all have different values as humans. And so when we learn to observe our actions, we can start to know our values. And when we know our values, you start to find a whole world that opens up when we know our values. And this is a journey that I had undertaken 20 years ago, and it opened a world for me, but I haven't revisited in a long time. So here's that opportunity for me to ponder, what do I value? For the time that I am on this planet, what will my actions work towards creating? And are all of my actions planned, focused, conscious, accomplishing the things I want to accomplish? Or are they just, is my body just existing, reacting, floating, being? We were watching a Doctor Who episode, and in the episode, Doctor Who, he was talking to Clara about, I can't break the rules. And she said, well, what are the rules? How do we know what the rules are? You're always talking about the rules, but how do we know what the rules are? And he said, we know when we break them. And then in the episode, they ended up in a place that was Vikings. And there was this whole thing that happened, and this young girl was dying, and Clara begged him to save her. And so the doctor put a chip, piece of technology into her that saved her life. It repaired her body. But it would continue repairing her body always. And so he gave her immortality. And he gave her a second one. Well, she wasn't awake, but her parent, and said, this is for her. This is for when she meets the right person, someone who's good enough. And it's not good to be alone. And he left. He and Clara left. And in the next episode, the doctor runs into her thousands of years in the future, and she had been living on Earth alone and could not die, and she had become something that didn't care, that didn't value life, that was involved in high-risk activity and seemed to not have a conscience because she was so upset about not being given the chance, but just the burden of immortality. And she said, I've been waiting for you for so long. And at the end of the second episode, she makes a choice that has the potential to kill many, many people and endanger many people. And at the last minute, when she starts to open this portal that was going to let in all these beings that were going to like destroy the world, classic Doctor Who, she realizes, I do care. Oh God, what did I do? And then, she still had that other computer chip that he had given her. And earlier in the episode, he had asked her, why didn't you have a partner? Why are you alone? What happened to the chip I gave you? And she said, it's here. No one was ever good enough. But in this moment, there was the only way to close the portal, the only way to save all these people was to give this chip to this man that was dying, this man that she didn't even know. And so he was given immortality. So now she had a partner, except that they didn't even know each other and weren't necessarily going to become partners. We know nothing, actually, because I'm only one episode more in the series, but there's this point at the end of the episode. It was a 2-part episode. And she said, please take me with you. Please get me out of here. I just want to fly. I just want you to take me with you. And we all think he's going to do it because he always does. He takes people with him, but he won't take her. He doesn't take her. And they start talking about immortality, and she's like, they die. They always die. They just flicker out, these flames. They're just so quick to flicker out. And as I said that, I see the image on my computer. This is the image I had. This is Shirdi Sai Baba, and he's surrounded by the lamps. Hence the contrast to the idea that the flame just flickers out. This is the eternal divine flame. And the doctor says, we need them. These humans, these people, they live a short life, but they make the most of it. And the one character, he was the one who was dying. He was making jokes all the way up to the gallows, and every last second he was extracting the marrow from every last second that he had to live before they were going to hang him. And it's one of the things I love about Doctor Who, because he's in constant wonder of humans and who we are and what we do and how we live. And it gives me a reminder and perspective of the opportunity that we have. And at the end of the day, I can't control other people. I am responsible to and for myself. And as a parent, I'm responsible for my daughter. And, my husband and I have agreed to be responsible with each other and for each other at times, but we're each responsible for ourselves as well. That clear and healthy boundary, that many, many years that it's taken me to learn what that clear and healthy boundary feels like, that's what keeps me able to breathe. Because in a moment when I remember, there is nothing else around me. in one sense. And in another sense, I am connected to everything else around me, but I can learn to tune it out. All the chaos, all the confusion, all the frustration, all the elation, all the things. There's a way to kind of tap into the core and to just find that peace. And that peace can come in the stillness after tears. That peace can come in the contentment of being able to just put down the distractions and cuddle with our cats or our children or a book and a cup of tea. And I just really authentically and lovingly invite any of you who just need connection to just feel the connection I'm offering. And you are not alone. I am not alone. And also, I can learn to be responsible for myself. And that looks different for every person. Thanks for taking the time to watch and to be an authentic connection.